On the morning of November 10th, 2014, Kenny Lee Veach embarked on a journey to rediscover a peculiar cave that he'd discovered a few months earlier while hiking in the desert. He referred to this cave as the M Cave due to the fact that it was shaped like an M. The hike was supposed to take 48 to 72 hours, but Kenny never came back. And despite search parties looking for him in this digitized world, Kenny is still missing to this day. But here's where things get diabolical. The M Cave Kenny found is located near Area 51, one of America's most mysterious places. Which begs to question, did Kenny go missing by some stroke of bad luck, or was it a disappearance caused by the American military? The Mojave and Great Basin deserts in Nevada and California were two of the places that Kenny Veach, who was 47 years old, spent a significant portion of his leisure time exploring. He was an accomplished solo hiker. He went on the majority of these hikings alone, camping out for several days, traveling with only the bare necessities and not having a GPS, compass, or even a map with him. Sometimes his girlfriend would accompany him, but those were on short hikes. Now, I know most of you guys hearing about his hiking process would call him reckless, and you're right, but Kenny didn't care. Kenny loved hiking that way, and sometimes he would video himself and upload it on YouTube. Although Kenny wasn't a big uploader to YouTube, he was active in posting comments on forums using the tag SnakeBitMcGee. He called himself this as he had a dangerous habit of picking up snakes, and he once was bitten by a rattlesnake. The comment section was where he would freely talk about his daredevil experience as a hiker. He talks about hiking for over 20 years, finding skulls of all shapes and sizes, which he uses to decorate his house. And in his 20 years as a hiker, he has only been rescued by a helicopter when he blew out his left leg at the top of a mountain, which, I won't lie, is an impressive record. This is all just, to give you an insight into the kind of person Kenny was, and this could also be why there's a video about him now. In June 2014, Kenny shared a terrifying tale in the comment section of a YouTube video that was titled "Son of an Area 51 Technician," which I assume would be about someone sharing quote-unquote secrets about unorthodox operations or practices carried out in Area 51. And just as with all thought-provoking YouTube videos, people will always comment on what they thought of the video, and Kenny was one of those people, though in his case he was sharing more of his experience. In his comment, Kenny described a hidden cave that he'd discovered that was close to Nellis Air Force Base, which is located just south of the notorious Area 51. The cave had an entrance that was formed like a perfect capital M. As soon as he entered the cave to explore, he felt strange vibrations all over his body, in addition to an overwhelming feeling of fear that just crippled him. And this man, who was fearless and performed dangerous solo hikes, was suddenly afraid, and so afraid that he ran for his life. To reiterate how strange this was for him, Kenny followed up with some sort of CV talking about how he hiked alone across mountaintops that most people wouldn't dare to hike, has visited more caverns than he can count, played with rattlesnakes for fun, so, it's clear that he didn't scare easy, but this cave made him run away like a scared little baby. What felt like a simple, harmless comment about his experience at that cave blew up the comment section, and people were replying. Most people didn't believe him and felt he made the story up, and it didn't help matters that when they asked for proof that the cave existed, Kenny couldn't provide any. So they ridiculed him, insulted him, and called him a liar. I mean, it's the YouTube comment section, so... Others, on the other hand, kind of believed him because of the area that the cave was found in. Remember, originally the video commented on was a video about Area 51, and Area 51 is a place that is heavily shrouded in mysteries. Some of you may already know what Area 51 is, whether as a fact or as a conspiracy piece, but for some of you who don't know, especially if you're watching from another country, like yours truly, Area 51 is the name of a facility that is located within the Nevada Test and Training Range and is used by the United States Air Force for highly classified operations. At least that's what it officially says. But most people, and I mean a lot of people, believe there is more than meets the eye on Area 51. The installation has been the subject of numerous conspiracies involving extraterrestrial life, despite the fact that its sole confirmed usage is as a facility for conducting flight experimentation. But, I get why people don't believe the press release that the government releases about Area 51. At first, just like the NSA's experience, Area 51's existence was denied by the American government. They lied and said there was no such place as Area 51 until June 2013, when they finally and officially admitted to the existence of it. Many people who were interested in UFOs think that the underground facilities of Area 51 contain alien artifacts, UFOs, and even dead aliens. Other theories have been proposed throughout the years, such as the possibility that Area 51 was utilized for the manipulation of weather, the creation of energy weapons and advanced propulsion systems, the storage of alien spacecraft, and the reverse engineering of these spacecraft. Although the US military has, of course, denied these claims, then again, they denied Area 51 ever existed, so who knows what's true and what's not? And anybody who attempts to enter the area in an unauthorized manner will be immediately removed or arrested by military personnel. These infamous individuals are known as camo dudes, and they patrol the perimeter in order to deter anybody who's not authorized to enter their territory. So because of all these reasons and how kind of close the cave was to Area 51, some people believe that Kenny might have stumbled onto something that he shouldn't have and was probably lucky to be alive at that point. Then there's the discussion of the vibrations Kenny felt, which some people think is true. It turns out that depending on their depth and dimensions, caves are capable of producing a wide range of harmonics, resonances, frequencies, and echo. And some of these can be combined to have a significant influence on humans and the psyche. In particular, the frequency of 110 Hz has been found to particularly influence human senses, to the point that researchers believe that human cultures who engaged in cave chanting or seek spiritual enlightenment will congregate in caves that happen to have this frequency, even if they don't realize what this frequency is. It's fascinating. And even many cathedrals are acoustically designed in order to achieve this particular resonance. Did you know that? Plus, sonic and ultrasonic weapons can use sound to injure or incapacitate an opponent. Some sonic weapons make a focused beam of sound or of ultrasound. Others produce an area field of sound. As of 2023, the military and police forces make some limited use of sonic weapons. They exist. So maybe Kenny stumbled into a place that was used as an experiment for practicing sonic or sound warfare. Then again, no one actually knows. Either way, it didn't matter to Kenny. His ego was already bruised with these allegations of being called a fake and a liar, and he'd had enough of it. So he told them he would go back to said cave a second time and get video proof to shut the trolls up for good. The M-shaped cave that Kenny mentioned in his comment was located in the Sheep Range, which is located to the north of Las Vegas. The range can be found in the Desert National Wildlife Refuge, which is situated in both Clark and Lincoln counties to the north of Las Vegas, Nevada. And this was a place that was well known for having drug addicts and dealers who had taken up residence in the area, and even as being a dumping ground for murder victims' bodies. But all these didn't deter Kenny. The desert wilderness that Kenny was hiking around was also full of old mine shafts that the military had used to dispose of chemicals, and was a very isolated and extremely difficult trip. It took Kenny approximately 10 hours of hiking just to reach the area of the M Cave. As if it was a warning from God himself, someone commented on his post before he made the trip, advising him not to go back again. That if he did, he might be lucky to get out. In spite of the warning, he went again to the desert, but this time he brought his Ruger 9mm gun with him, seeing as last time he only had a pocket knife and wasn't well prepared. On October 18th, 2014, he uploaded a 21-minute video to YouTube titled M Cave Hike, which detailed his journey in search of the M Cave. As of the time of this video, his video had 3.5 million views on YouTube. As I said earlier, the video is 21 minutes long, so this is just a snippet, but I attached a link in the description below where you can click to watch the whole thing. I've watched it multiple times. It's pretty interesting. Despite his tenacity in trying to locate the cave, he couldn't find it. In hindsight, I could understand why he couldn't find it, because when he initially found it, he wasn't looking for the cave, he just stumbled on it, so he might not have mapped out the trail to it. Plus, he also ran out of the cave, so it's not like he was taking great notice of things at the time. However, not many people saw this reason. Immediately, when Kenny said he couldn't find the mysterious cave, disappointed YouTube users flooded the comment section, criticizing him for not proving his original claim. This resulted in even more negative comments on YouTube that he was a liar, that the cave never existed in the first place, and he made it all up for attention, etc., etc. Once again, this might have probably hurt his ego, so he told the trolls that he was going to make a third trip to the region in order to locate the now fabled M Cave. This time, he even encouraged other people to accompany him on this expedition, but as with all trolls on the internet, no one showed up. They were only keyboard warriors. So on November 10th, 2014, Kenny embarked on a trip by himself to locate the M Cave, and unfortunately, Kenny never came back. Kenny had informed his loved ones that he'd be gone for a couple of days, but when he failed to return home on the third day or even make contact, his girlfriend became worried and reported him missing. In November of 2014, the investigators started looking for Kenny. In the days following his disappearance, search and rescue teams explored an abandoned vertical mineshaft that had been featured in one of Kenny's recent videos. There they found his cell phone, while his vehicle was discovered several miles away. Dave Cummings, the commander of Red Rock Search and Rescue in Las Vegas, commented on the find, stating, quote, "We found his cell phone close to a very vertical old mine shaft, and we can't find another trail. It doesn't mean that he's down the mine shaft, but we have tracked him as far as we can. We are having our other crews come in from the search areas." After a while, the search was called off, and Kenny was proclaimed dead, even though there was no body for confirmation. The relevant authorities concluded that because he was out there with little to no resources, there was no way he would have survived that long. So what the heck happened to Kenny? How did he go missing and end up dead? Well, there were theories postulated by concerned people who tried to solve this mystery as best as they could. One such theory is that due to how reckless he was on hikes, he might have gotten injured or lost, and due to not carrying enough resources, might have succumbed to dehydration or even hypothermia. He could also have come into contact with wild animals, seeing as the Mojave Desert is home to rattlesnakes, mountain lions, and coyotes, and an encounter with any of them could have ended tragically. On the other hand, there is a different notion that proposes the M Cave might be the entrance to a covert government facility. In his description of the cave, Kenny mentioned that it was located close to Nellis Air Force Base and Area 51. A number of individuals who believe in conspiracy theories are also of the opinion that he may have discovered secrets held by the government and that his disappearance was an attempt to keep him silent, either by imprisoning him or killing him. Or worse, he could have vanished after having an encounter with extraterrestrial beings. But hey guys, this isn't a mystery channel like Motec or Y-Files. So we're staying clear of that notion. Plus, the theory is kind of wrong. To put things into perspective, the base is located at least 20 miles away from the locations that Kenny highlighted in the different videos that he posted while hunting for the cave, and the possibility of the M cave being connected to the Groom Lake location appears to be highly improbable. In spite of all the extensive searches carried out to locate Kenny, dead or alive, he couldn't be found. There was even the thought that maybe he mistakenly fell into a mine and that's why his body couldn't be found. So experts were brought in and they explored the depths of nearby mines, and yet they couldn't find any trace of Kenny. In fact, such an exhaustive search of the area didn't turn up a single clue of where Kenny had gone or if he'd ever been there at all. It was as if he'd just vanished into thin air. And while the world is still trying to wrap their heads around his disappearance, a woman, claiming to be his girlfriend, revealed some private information about him that made it look like when Kenny left on November 10th, he knew he wasn't coming back. A YouTube user with the name Sharon Pilgrim posted a comment on the last YouTube video Kenny did, claiming to be his girlfriend. At first, her comments sounded loving, reminiscing about how Kenny loved hiking and taking on challenging hikes and how she liked to hike with him as well. Pretty normal human reaction, until you start scrolling down and she starts talking about Kenny's depression. Turns out Kenny has been battling depression for many years, and just like how he hiked without appropriate gear, Kenny refused to see a doctor or take medication for his depression, thereby worsening his mental state. He also quit his job a year before his disappearance. He handed in his resignation from his position as a service technician for a coffee company in order to pursue a career as an inventor. During this time, he developed what he claimed to be an enhanced version of a toilet paper holder, and he even presented his creation to the television program known as Shark Tank. He even uploaded a video of his invention on YouTube. But that didn't go well. He also tried to sell his house, but with an unusual condition. The buyer was required to hire him as a caretaker and would also agree to let him continue to decorate the home in his own style. Of course, no one took him up on that offer. None of his business ventures were successful, and he was running out of money due to not working for over a year, which just made him more depressed. However, he didn't want to work for anyone else, and as such, didn't look for a job, so it was a conundrum for Kenny. It was looking like things weren't working out, and the only time he could find peace and serenity was when he was hiking. By early October, his depression had increased to the extent his girlfriend could tell, and she jokingly asked him, "You aren't going to pull a Robin Williams on me, are you?" This is when he opened up to her more about his depression and his thoughts about life and death. He told her about his father committing suicide when he was in his early 20s. He also said, quote, "If I decide to do it, you'll be okay, because you are good at the law of allowing," which, surprised his girlfriend. Then to top it off, he said if he was ever going to do it, he would do it in the desert where there was an abundance of natural caverns and mines, and because of that, quote, "no one will ever find me." And he's right. The Mojave Desert is so vast that it borders 4 states, which are California, Nevada, Arizona, and Utah. An entire European country like Ireland and Iceland could fit comfortably within its boundaries, and there'd still be space remaining. So if he did get lost, especially if done intentionally, it'd be very difficult to find him. After the 3rd day of not hearing anything from Kenny, Sharon became concerned and reported him missing. 3 separate searches were conducted on foot by more than 30 members of the search and rescue team. 1 helicopter flyover was even done. Still, there was no trace of Kenny or any of his camping things. They only discovered his vehicle in the location where Sharon had predicted it would be. The mine shaft was about a 4-hour hike from his car, and Sharon feels that leaving it there was done on purpose so that the GPS wouldn't track Kenny. He also didn't take his video camera with him on this solo hike. It was at home, which meant he had no intention of filming anything the 3rd time around, as he claimed in his comments. She then ended her comment in the YouTube video with advice for those who still wanted to find Kenny or the M Cave, advising them to be very prepared with adequate resources as the journey and hike can be very challenging. This revelation from Sharon shocked everyone. Even though most people didn't know Kenny, there were no signs of depression from him, in person or in his videos. I mean, this was someone who was going back and forth with others in the chat. This was someone who went back to prove naysayers wrong. And most importantly, this was someone who sent out an open invitation to everyone and anyone to hike with him in his third attempt. He certainly didn't sound suicidal, and real talk, I guess that's the thing about suicide and depression. It's not written on the face. And I know this is a crime channel and not a motivational channel, but researching this story made me feel for him in a way I didn't expect. And I just wished he opened up more, talked more or sought professional help with his depression. So I guess this is for all you watching this video right now. You can pause or close the video, either's fine, but check on your friends or the people around you. Just say, hi, I'm here to talk, are you okay? All those kind of things. And if you're watching this video and contemplating doing what Kenny did, there's a link in the description below where you can click and reach out to someone and just talk to them. As of 2024, Kenny Veach has still not been found. Kenny's family and friends still mourn his loss, but they take comfort in the fact that he died doing what he loved, which was taking in the splendors of the desert. Now that's a bit bittersweet, but we're going to finish it there for today. Thanks for watching.